people, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another tank review. Today we are looking at the IS-2, so is this thing worth the gold? So first of all, it costs 5,250 gold, and is it worth that? Fuck yeah it is. This is probably the best premium tank to get if you're on a budget. The problem with that is that this is kind of special in a way that you cannot buy it at all times. You usually will be able to buy it at bigger events like Christmas and any kind of World War II related events as well. So if you can get your hands on this for around 20 euros, gold 5.5k gold costs 20 euros in EU store. So if you can get this below 20 euros, it's a fucking steal. This tank is ridiculous for that price. It is the best money maker for that amount of money for sure, and it's not clunky as the SU-12244 is. Needless to say that the SU is OP as shit, but this is even better in my opinion. So what do we have here? Let's look at the armor, as we do have two replays to go through. So it's the IS hull. There's nothing really special about it. The good news is that it does have these silly angles where you can get 500 armor angles and shit, and if you angle the hull and somebody decides to shoot the outer part of it, it's gonna always bounce. But it does have pretty cheese front. If you get shot right in the front, do not really expect to bounce things. When it comes to the turret, it's the typical IS turret. You don't really have much to say about this. You have pretty decent gun mantlet places, but it's in overall it's pretty shitty, as you can see around the gun. The armors are only around 100, and the same goes for the entire turret. The middle zones are kind of shitty, but when it comes kind of the outer zones of the turret are extremely powerful, so tank can bounce quite a bit. You do have pretty decent side armor with 100 on the front and 90 at the back and 90 on the bottom as well. That's a lot of side armor for a tier 7. Mention you that the Tiger 2 gets only 80 side armor, so this is extremely healthy amount of armor. Side scraping can be done. It's not really recommended all that much because obviously when you side scrape, these parts become exposed and weak, but even then, like, side scraping is still probably the best thing you can try to do when you are fighting in the city maps, as it is still 10 times better than giving somebody your front road wheel. Other than that, there's not really much to say. Your cupola is huge, so try to never stop. And that being said, let's look into the gun depression. So 6 degrees all around, apart from the back where it goes down to 2, but 6 degrees is pretty damn healthy for a tank like this. So overall, it's yes. Only it makes more money, so POP. Let's look at the replays. And here's the first replay, but again, before we get into too much action, let's look at the stats of the premium IS-2. So it is exactly like the IS-2, with only better in every way. It's better power to weight. The only downside to this tank compared to the IS-2 is that it has less signal range on the radio, which actually is pretty shitty at 440 meters, but at this tier it doesn't really matter that much. Unless you're a top tier and you are dealing with some low tier crap, then you should be able to see the entire map anyway. So let's talk about the rest of the stats. So at 1280 hit points, pretty damn healthy for a Russian tier 7. It's slightly less health than the IS. The IS in general is just slightly better in most situations. Speed limit forwards 34, backwards 14, pretty healthy for a Russian once again. Engine power 600 horsepower, 12.97 horsepower per ton, 38 degrees traverse speed on the hull, and terrain resistance is better than on the Russian IS, but worse than on the Chinese IS-2, the non-premium one. No, it's actually the same as the Chinese one, so yeah, there's that. View range 350 meters. If you have a good Russian crew, you'll have a pretty decent view range of this as well. Turret traverse 28 degrees per second, which is not great. So when you come to the gun, it's the usual Ivan gun, 175 pen, 390 damage, and as gold you get APCR with 217 pen. Not the greatest gold round in history, but it does the job when you kind of need it. But I mean, 212 or 17 penetration isn't going to do any miracles, so it doesn't get the heat, which is a bit sad if you compare it to the Chinese IS-2. DPM 1903, it's the same across all board, and the Russian heavies, it's actually much better than like most DPMs at tier 8 on like German tanks and shit like that. So the DPM on this is really competitive for a tier 7 heavy tank. The only one that obviously beats it by quite a lot is a Tiger, but then again, if you get outplayed by a Tiger in this thing, you should probably uninstall. What else there is to say? Rate of fire 4.88, the stock values. You can get the reload down to around around 10 seconds, 10 point something, so it's around 6 rounds a minute with all the upgrades and shit. Accuracy 0.46 and aim time 3.4, but as always with Russian guns, the bigger the numbers, the better the accuracy. And that is pretty much all the stats there is to talk about. So, yeah, talking about the actual game. So first of all, this is a tier 9 game, and this is for all the people who are usually crying that you only show games where you are top tier so you can break face and shit. Well, there you go. Now we're bottom tier in a premium tank with 175 pen and shooting tier 9s in the face. We managed to do damage to the T-54 who angled like a twat, and then the lower plate shot on the WZ that hit exactly the middle of the crosshair without aiming at all, because Russia, comrade, Russia! That's how it works. So the equipment you would use on this thing is rammer, gun length drive, and ventilation. Don't have access to vert stabs, which is a bit unfortunate, and is really the biggest difference in the guns between this and an IS-6. The DPM between this and an IS-6, the difference is barely even there. So yeah, the only problem with this is that you don't have vert stabs, so these kind of unaimed shots will often miss. But then again, the simple thing about this tank is, as with any kind of high alpha damage tank with the kind of paper armor, you try not to aim for too long. You just try to take your shots without aiming too much. I don't even know how I managed to miss that Tiger 3 times in a row, but you know, that's how Russia works, man. It works in mysterious ways. Now we can get maybe another shot into this WZ. Fuck aiming, and right in the lower plate, and we bounce the super Pershing as well. As you can see, the armor works reasonably well as long as you don't sit still for too long. So that's my general tactic in this tank. Just don't sit still for too long and you'll be fine. Again, never aim fully. It's just like, it doesn't work like that. You cannot sit still for fucking 10 seconds to aim this fucking Russian piece of shit fully. So just take unaimed shots all day and you'll be fine. Again, bouncing shots because reasons. This tank in general is broken as all hell. Like, you can outplay CDCs all day with this, and it's a fucking tier 7 premium. Like, it's funny how broken this tank can be. And like, sure, it's not like the greatest thing ever when you have to face the D-75s and shit, but at the same time you can relocate quite rapidly with this, so it's not even that bad. And hit that shot finally as well, so we're almost at 2k damage already. And yeah, the general tactic in this tank is pretty damn simple. When bottom tier, you play as a support. Try to never aim unless you really need to, unless you're obviously under no threat, but in most cases you're gonna be 20 meters away from your enemies, trying to shoot them in the face as quickly as you can without getting shot back. So when you try to do that, try not to sit still for too long. Going hull down is fine. The gun depression is 6 degrees, which is healthy enough, but again, never aim unless you're too far away and they can't even see you, because Disco Polo is too big of a target to miss it ever unless you're on the move. And it seems that the T-54 is going ham, and so is their WZ. No, the WZ chilled. Their T-54 is going ham as well. This shot was pretty poorly aimed. I should have aimed on the inside of his hull, because that was like really the only thing I could have penned in that situation. But I decided to aim for, well, I aimed center mass, which definitely wasn't the right play over there. And now the KV-3 dies, and this T-54 just doesn't really care about any kind of support, so he just goes ham. It's gonna be hard for me to deal with this, but he does pick up the kill on the Tiger 1. What a hero. What a hero, that T-54. I'm gonna move up and try to get the shot into the ass of the WZ. The T-54 lost his entire health full and got ammo wrecked as well. Now I pick up the kill on the tier 9, but now the Super Pershing has my number, and the only way I can really get to any kind of safety is if I hide behind this rock. Otherwise the T-54 would have made carving out of me probably, and the Super Pershing is over-angling his shit way too much, and I can just pen this side easily there. And again, my reload is barely worse than the Super Pershing, so he's gonna try to rush me again, but I'm already loaded and ready to fucking put another 390 in him. Rolling a bit lower here in the last 2 shots, but it doesn't really matter as he didn't even try to shoot me back. I'm not even sure what he's trying to do at the moment, but I'm gonna be able to pick up the kill as well, because my reload's better than the IS-5s. And yeah, before we get to the last guy I'm gonna shoot in the face, I'm actually gonna show you the end plates on the screen right here. Not really 100% sure if you can actually read all of this, but regardless, 3,585 damage done, so hey, spoilers, I'm gonna actually hit another shot, and 2,636 experience without any doubles or anything. Ace tanker, 1,463 base experience, 2 kills, and yeah. And quite a lot of that damage was done to tier 9s as well, as you can see. 1000 damage to the WZ and one shot into the A54 as well. So not too bad in general. I also made 72k profit, which for a tier 7 premium tank that costs only well, slightly below 20 euros is pretty damn fucking healthy, especially because the game wasn't even that hard or anything like that. And now here is the last shot as well. Managed to track the RD and he gets fucked immediately after. So there is the first game. Let's move on to the second one. And here's the second game, playing on airfield. This time we're top tier, so this time we get to shit on tier 6s. There's no tier 5s, which also you can get, and shooting those for 390 alpha damage in the face is quite hilarious. And the only thing that you realize after playing this tank, that this gun used to be a tier 6. And pretty much in its current iteration, it had like 13-second reload on the old KV-1S. So, like, how stupid that balancing had to have been for Wargaming to not change it for such a long time. It took them years to fix the KV-1S, and it's amazing. It's just amazing how stupid the balancing can get in this game. And this gun for tier 7 is still pretty damn OP, and we're gonna show this off here in a reasonable fashion, I guess. So my spawn was pretty good, and also this tank isn't very slow, so you can get into this pocket position pretty damn quickly. It is a really powerful position to be in, as it provides you shots all over the map without really taking too much risks, and also it is more or less RD safe as well. So it is a pretty damn good position to take early on in the game. Now this Yak Panther is a bit in the way for me to shoot the ARL, and that tank just looks stupid now. It's the new stock turret. I mean, it looks better than it did before, but it still looks stupid as fuck. Missed my first shot. Nothing really to say about that. The Russian guns are gonna Russian, you know. They're now getting ready to take the second shot as well. That tank looks so stupid. And I guess I cry every time. They buffed the RAL in the end, it seems. They did nerf the top turret, but the stock turret is probably slightly better than the old one, because I don't think there's even a way to make a turret that would be shittier than the old stock turret on the ARL. No, he is evaporated. I mean, probably just went behind cover, but no, he actually went on this side of the hill, on the north side. So we might actually be able to shoot him in the face again, as he's literally not paying any attention. He has no respect. He was like, you bounced off me twice, you probably can't pen me anyways. But we do end up penning him finally, so at least all the time wasted wasn't completely wasted. It still was, though, in a way. And now VKP is not really a big threat to this tank at all, but this Panther is a bit more tastier, as he's making some weird-ass plays now. Help out my Cromwell by putting in a healthy roll into the Panther as well. This is not really the kind of role that IS-2 should be doing in the top tier game, but at the same time, like, if I can avoid feeding their RD, I'll avoid that. And like, if I play aggressive, I'm likely gonna end up feeding their TDs, which is something I really want to avoid from happening. I want to avoid from feeding their RDs and from feeding their TDs, and if I do that, there's not gonna be no real way they can really win this game. Now I can see if I can shoot some of these guys. It's like a quite tall order for this gun to hit these shots, but maybe we can. But it is slightly unlikely, to say the least. Maybe we can track this guy well enough. And here you go, Russia, comrade, Russia. And now it seems that IS might be my next victim. At the same time, though, there might be some trouble behind me. We had some retarded plays on our side here on the map. Our heavy tanks just went full ham and kind of all died off. So it's likely that the enemy TDs will be advancing soon, because, you know, TDs, that's what they do. They jerk off in the back and then try to march in like the champs they are to kill the last left enemies. And now pretty good roll into the BK. You can see the fucking amount of damage this gun does. It two-shots tier 6 heavy tanks. Like, how stupid is that? It two-shots other heavy tanks. Like, come on. Decide to shoot the IS as the BK is really a threat to me, and killing an IS there would be an insane gain for us, but I didn't fuck that shot up, so nothing really to say about that. Now I shoot this guy, obviously, because I can fucking hit him more reliably than any of those fuckers. So the choices of targets are usually, do you shoot the guy that's closest to you, and then after that you might pick some other targets. But now I have a Scorpion at my ass, and in World of Tanks and in real life, you don't really want to have a Scorpion up your ass. It's usually a pretty bad experience for both parties involved. And now the KV-3 Potato, or even orange is trying to shoot me. He does pen me, which is unfortunate, but it doesn't, like, the trades I'm getting here are ridiculous. My DPM is so much higher than his, and I'm actually gonna go just push forwards and get shot again. I don't really care. I just want to kill him as fast as I can, and the best way to do it is just to get in his face and shoot him in the face a couple of times. Now the Scorpion actually stops and tries to shoot me, which is kind of funny. I do low roll, a high roll there would have been actually really good for me, and now a Yak Panther thinks he's super clever as well. He can easily pen me here, which he does, and now I have an SU up in my face, but I need to shoot this guy first. And Artie's on me as well, but the SU fucks his shot up, so we're still good. We're still going. The KV-13 is behind me, so is the VK. This position isn't great, to say the least, but we will be able to put a shot into this SU. I'm now actually... I have to try to flank this guy, because if he shoots me again, I might be in big trouble here, and that's really the best way for me to lose this game. Going for a tracking shot if he has a repair kit, which he obviously does because he jerked off the entire game. And now we might be in trouble, but I mean, he shoots HE. If he shot heat, we might have actually died here, but it wasn't the case, so I do pick up his frag as well. And now going back to my previous pocket position, this position is just the best on the entire airfield map. It's pretty much the easiest way to win games, and now trying to snipe this Scorpion. It's a pretty shitty shot for a gun like this, and I do end up missing it. And Artie's still on my case. He's trying to blind shoot, but failing at the moment. And now these 3 guys left down here. Well, only 2 guys now. Scorpion died to Artie as well, because artillery is even more fair and balanced than the IS-2. So now this shot, I mean, it's not terrible, but it could have been better, all things considered. And my gunner dies just before I take the shot, but I do manage to hit it in the end. Anyways, I do not have a medkit anymore, as I used it already. And now this is the real Russian accuracy. A dead gunner on a Russian gun. That's like where the shit is at. I'm aiming at the VK because it doesn't have the Russian armor to it, and we do actually end up shooting him. And yeah, that is pretty much all that's gonna happen in this game. So again, let's look at the end plates while we enjoying me driving around. Nah, fuck it, nothing is gonna happen in that game. I didn't get to kill the Artie, so whatever. Let's just look at the end plates properly now. 4,531 damage done, 402 assisted, 5,029 experience with the double, and a swanker, of course, and high caliber as well. Made 83,000 credit profit, and yeah. IS-2 is pretty damn good tank, I tell you. Pretty damn Russian. It's good shit, yes. But in all seriousness, is this thing worth the gold? Well, fuck yeah it is. If you can get this below 20 euros or whatever the America alternative is, you should definitely get this. This tank is ridiculously powerful. And if you're on a budget and you're looking for a tank to get, this definitely is one of the ones you should be looking at. It's like an SU-122 with a way worse rate of fire, to give it that, but it has so much more survivability with the hit points, with the armor, with the fucking turret. It doesn't make you... You don't have to be exposed, and you don't need to rely on your team spotting for you. You do in some ways, but you can still work just fine on your own as well, which makes this tank one of the best price per performance tanks in the game. You just ridiculously powerful. I mean, it's an IS, only makes more money, as I said. So 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'll hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you on the next one.